Welcome to ADHD Power Tools, where we give you the tools to unlock the power within. Hello, Brooke. Today, I want to ask you, what are some tools you can give mothers with ADHD?
Okay, so mothers with ADHD. First of all, I want to say that a mom very often realizes she has ADHD once her child is diagnosed, because the statistics out there, I think it's 41 to 55% of children who have ADHD have at least one parent who has ADHD as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, some advice I want to give for mothers with ADHD is, now being a new step parent, I understand the complexity of parenting. I
Mm-hmm.
myself have ADHD. One of my children are diagnosed. And then you throw ADHD into the factor as a mom, and the executive functions, the tasks, the details, the remembering every little thing, not only for yourself, but for your children and for your significant other. That's a lot of executive functioning
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
has to play into things. So, first of all, women, we very often are perfectionists when it is related to ADHD. So, when it comes to parenting, we have to do our best to acknowledge that it's never going to be perfect. Not even neurological parents
Mm-hmm.
have a perfect situation. And then the planning piece is really, really challenging as well, and the details. So, looking at your strengths and your weaknesses, which I like to do with my clients to begin with, and then seeing if maybe your partner can help you out with the areas that you're weak in. So, you focus more on the things as a mom that you have strengths in. Perhaps it's taking your child to like a fun place or doing
Mm-hmm.
their homework with them or whatever. But maybe when things go into the calendar and planning out, play dates, maybe that's not your forte. So maybe that has
Mm-hmm.
to go to your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
So delegating the things that are your weaknesses, having meetings with your partner to discuss plans for the week. I do that with my husband now too. We have to really go into detail about planning, and it can be cumbersome because as an ADHDer, it's not something that we're good at.
Mm-hmm.
However, the rewards afterwards, it's so much easier to see and be proactive, and it alleviates a lot of the anxiety. So plan weekly meetings with your significant other, delegate your weaknesses, give yourself a break. We're not perfect. If you can hire things out even within your house, perhaps having a personal assistant or a babysitter,
Mm-hmm.
or relying on a family member for things, figuring out when you can use others, even your children, to help you pick up some of the slack.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everything starts from within you. So if you're not nurturing the goose, as I like to call it, as Stephen Covey says, then the
Mm-hmm.
golden eggs that you produce are going to wear away and get rusty. So you got to take care of yourself, put your oxygen mask first on all the time before you
Mm-hmm.
can give to others. And mothers are typically nurturers. They want to take care of everyone, and at the expense of yourself, typically. So,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how you can slowly put some self care in, control of your own schedule, control of your own time and thoughts. So, this way you can provide in a healthier way for your family.
100%. Um, I was diagnosed with ADHD at 7 years old. I like some of you may know, and my mother, it worried her a lot when I first started, getting in trouble in class and going to being hyperactive and impulsive. So I ended up getting diagnosed at 7. And at this time, my mom was very curious and she was worried. What's some good treatment, medication, this, that, what could we do? So she bought books on top of books, stacks of books. We still have the whole collection of on children with ADHD. And I'm very thankful for my mother. She helped me so much with my ADHD and my executive functioning. And now that I grow older, I mature, I can see some ADHD traits in her as well. going back to that statistic you said earlier, Dr. Hackey Reitman, he's the founder and president of Different Brains. He's said this many, many times. It's less of a disorder, more of a difference in a way. Everyone has different traits.
Order.
Exactly. Many people have different traits of ADHD. Many people have different traits of this or that, or multiple different neurodiversities. You don't really have to be diagnosed. And I always go back to that. She was never diagnosed, but I could see that, and I know for a fact that all these books she read, I can see her practicing these tools and helping her out, since it helps me for sure. And even to this day, I have a 10-year-old sister, and I'm 22. It's a big age difference, but there's around half of the times during the week, me or my other sister, I have a 20-year-old sister, pick up my 10-year-old sister from school, helping my mom out when she needs help, because there's so much to juggle around, lots of responsibility for mothers. She has 3 children, and like you said, going back to what you said, some other people can help you out in specific areas that you need help in.
Absolutely. So whether your mom was diagnosed or not, her possessing some of the traits and the symptoms of someone with ADHD, showing a lot of credit, the fact that she was able to keep you organized and do her own research on it. But when a parent is diagnosed with ADHD or is exhibiting symptoms and the child it is even more of a struggle, because you have to then really step back as the parent and say, okay, I'm not going to be triggered by my child when she or he does this. I have to be really proactive and structured because they exhibit some of the same things that you exhibit. So you have to plan even harder to get them on the same page. And that's where you can see it being even more of a challenge between 2 ADHD people in a family, the adult and the child. So I would say planning and being proactive and using help where help is needed.
100%. It's not only learning your own self's executive function and ADHD brain, but you need to learn your child's, right, and make sure your child learns theirs. So it's a matter of lots of learning and stepping back and making sure everything is, you do your research in it, and juggle around all that responsibility, and pull through.
And staying calm and meeting your child where they're at, whether or not they have ADHD, meeting them with their strengths and what they want. And you'll meet a lot less resistance once you really listen and be with them.
Exactly.